What's up, everyone? Mike here from tastylive, back for another episode of Options in Action. And today we're talking about options premium. So options premium, from my perspective, is going to be very similar to extrinsic value and just all the analysis that goes along with taking a look at extrinsic value, understanding what extrinsic value is made from, time and implied volatility value. But from an actual option cost perspective, extrinsic value isn't always necessarily the driving factor. If an option is in the money, it's going to have some kind of intrinsic value, which is just the difference between the in the money option and the stock price, paired with whatever extrinsic value is on top of that. So options premium, to put it real simply, is something that I focus on when I'm buying options. I want to make sure that if I'm buying an option, I'm not at the mercy of a ton of options premium decaying against me in a big way. So generally speaking, if I'm buying options, I like to push that option's expiration out in time. 60 days, 70 days, 80 days and beyond. That gets you out into that low decay time value option price in terms of extrinsic value premium. And if you're buying an in the money option, that's going to be static. The intrinsic value will be static regardless of what expiration you choose, because again, it's just the difference between the in the money option and the stock price. Implied volatility is another thing that I wanted to talk about today when it comes to options premium. The higher the implied volatility is in a product that we're trading, the more I'm inclined to have some kind of short premium component against it. So even if I'm buying a longer term option, like in a diagonal spread or calendar spread, I want to sell an option against it to take advantage of that heightened implied volatility. So looking at the Strait platform, we've got USO pulled up here. And USO is, of course, going to be at the mercy of everything that's happening overseas. We've got the Strait of Hormuz opening, closing, and the news that hits the headlines, regardless of what's happening in real life, is really what's moving these markets. And as you can see, USO wasn't something that we were really talking about earlier in 2026 or earlier than that. But once the crude oil futures markets went into backwardation, you had this big pump in the USO price. And as you can see here, we've had a ton of volatility along the way. So I think the biggest thing to consider when you're looking at a chart like this is how is realized volatility driving options premium, and how can I trade against that? So that's what we're going to look at today when it comes to options premium. So USO is the U.S. oil fund, and it is moving and shaking. And really, when we come back to the concept of options premium, one thing to point out is just because a near-term options expiration has higher implied volatility readings, and by readings, I mean this number here along the right-hand side of the platform, 80.3% is higher than 76.3%, of course. And 76 is higher than 71. However, when you look at the plus-minus number, which is one of my favorite features of the Strait platform, is just looking at what the implied volatility actually extrapolates to based on the days to expiration of that options expiration. You're looking at $12.66 with an 80% IV for 9 days. You're looking at a 24, almost 25 point implied move or range with a 71.9% IV over 43 days. So what does this tell us? It tells us that relative to time, near-term options expirations are going to have more extrinsic value premium than longer-term expirations. Even if you have similar readings here in terms of implied volatility, you're always going to have a bigger range of outcomes the more time you associate with an options expiration. It goes back to like the life insurance policy, right? If you're trying to field life insurance for someone that doesn't take a lot of risks, they go to work every day, they come home, they're not taking too much risk, that life insurance policy quote is going to be lower than someone that is taking a ton of risk, snowboarding, skiing, skydiving, scuba diving, whatever that case may be. And that's simply because there's a lot more time or a lot more opportunities for things to go wrong for the latter example compared to the former. So same thing applies in the markets, right? When something is happening in a particular market that you're trading, regardless of whether it's USO or if you're looking at the tech space right now, tons of realized volatility can create implied volatility. And we want to make sure that regardless of what our strategy is, whether we're buying options, selling options, we account for that fact, and we're either taking advantage of heightened implied volatility by way of selling an option against an option we're buying, or maybe I own 100 shares of stock. If I see a big move in my favor with a pairing of a heightened implied volatility environment, I probably want to sell something against that to ensure that I'm reducing cost basis and taking advantage of that situation. So from a strategic standpoint, I think it's pretty simple. Understanding options premium and how it changes. This goes back to the previous video of extrinsic value analysis. Extrinsic value is in the top 5 things that are important for every trader to understand. If you can really master extrinsic value and understand how it ebbs and flows with market movements, you kind of backdoor into understanding all of these second order Greeks, first order Greeks, what have you. Like you know what you're looking at, but you may not even know the textbook definition of what you're looking at, but you know what you're looking at, and you can estimate how it might change. That is super important, especially when it comes to trade management and using options premium for you if you're selling options against, stock, same example, or if you're buying options, you want to make sure you're not at the mercy of heightened options premium relative to time. So again, looking at options premium from a holistic view, it's very similar to extrinsic value, I would say, because again, intrinsic value is embedded in the total price of an option, but extrinsic value and implied volatility ebbing and flowing is really kind of how you get into that art of options trading and manipulating premium and time relative to what you want to do with your strikes. So again, looking at a lower implied volatility here in USO 43 days out, if we look around the current stock price, you're dealing with a $1,200 option on either side of the market, whether you're looking at calls or puts. But if you look at a near-term option, 9 days out, you're looking at a higher implied volatility, and that is being shown in the current stock price. Looking at the same strikes, 133 and 134, you can collect almost 50% of the value that we were just looking at in the 43-day cycle. You got $6.50 between the bid-ask spread here, and then similarly priced on the call side. So $6 and change for a 9-day option relative to $12 and change for a 43-day option. That's the options premium we're talking about. There's a lot of uncertainty priced into the 9-day cycle in something like USO, given the global tensions that are still happening every single day. And that's reflected in the heightened implied volatility and heightened options premium relative to time. And that is how you get into that 80% implied volatility reflective of the total options premium across the expiration cycle here. And same thing for June. Yes, there's plenty more that can go wrong in the June cycle, or I should say there's more time, 43 days. There's more time for things to go wild in USO markets. Therefore, options prices have to be more expensive 43 days out relative to 8 days out. But when you extrapolate that relative to time, you don't have as much premium in this option cycle relative to your 9-day cycle. In other words, we're not able to take 9 days and fit that same premium into a 43-day cycle. If we were, we would have the same exact IV reading, and we would have a clear division of premium relative to the 43-day cycle. So again, options premium, I kind of think about it from extrinsic value standpoint, and the further out in time you go, regardless of what's happening with the market or implied volatility in that market, what you'll tend to see is implied volatility really heightens and concentrates, especially really big spikes in implied volatility tend to concentrate around that 30 to 60 day window. 45 days, that's how we get that sweet spot on tastylive. 45 days is kind of that period where you have heightened implied volatility blended with a nice time value. But the further out in time you go, even at an IV rank of 100 or beyond and markets are going crazy, the further out in time you go, you're going to see a lower implied volatility reading, because not only do you have more time for things to work out and reverse, but you just don't have that same implied volatility value in those long-term expirations. It's a lot more time-based extrinsic value and options premium relative to near-term cycles that really exhibit a lot more implied volatility value, and that implied volatility value can ebb and flow based on how these markets are behaving. So strategically speaking, to wrap it up nicely, if I'm selling premium, I'm usually in that 30 to 60 day window, unless you've got an earnings announcement or something like that, in which case I really want to be close to that earnings announcement or whatever binary event there is. And if I'm buying premium, I'm going to be far out in these cycles because I don't want to pay for that heightened implied volatility relative to time when I know I could just buy a 43-day option. Yes, it's twice as expensive, but I've got more than 4x the amount of time relative to the 9-day cycle. So it's not 4 times expensive. It's twice as expensive for 4 times the amount of time, as opposed to 4 times as expensive for 4 times the amount of time, if that makes sense. So long-term expirations for debit positions, if I can help it, if it fits within my risk profile. Shorter term expirations, if I'm selling options because I want to take advantage of that heightened options premium. And again, everything we just talked about comes back to extrinsic value for the most part. So extrinsic value, super important. Options premium depends on who you ask, but really options premium is going to be at the mercy of heightened extrinsic value because of certain things. And of course, options premium still has intrinsic value for in the money options. But again, that's a static factor and doesn't change regardless of what expiration you're looking at, because it's simply the distance between the in the money option and the current stock price. Let me know what you think about options premium, how you use it to create trading strategies, manage trading strategies. I'd love to hear it. Please like this video, subscribe to the tastylive channel, and we'll see you on the next episode of Options in Action.